Welcome to FACT's webinar called 3 Steps to Building Your Profitable Farm. Our presenter today is Charlotte Smith of 3 Cow Marketing. This webinar is hosted by Food Animal Concerns Trust. I am Larissa McKenna, FACT's Humane Farming Program Director, and I'll be moderating today's session. Thanks for joining us. So before we dive into the presentation, I have just a few quick introductions. Food Animal Concerns Trust, or FACT, is a national nonprofit organization that's headquartered in Illinois. We promote the safe and humane production of meat, milk, and eggs. I direct FACT's Humane Farming Program, which provides a number of opportunities for livestock and poultry farmers. This webinar is part of our Humane Farming webinar series. So I invite you to please visit our website to learn more about all of our farmer services, including our upcoming webinars and our farmer grant program. So at this time, I'm very pleased to introduce our esteemed presenter, Charlotte Smith. Charlotte is a regular on the conference circuit and has presented at the National Farmers Union Conference, the Beginning Farmers Institute, and the Grassworks Conference, among others. She's also a farmer herself and has used her marketing savvy to transform her farm from a struggling business into a profitable, sustainable business. So we're incredibly lucky to have her with us tonight to share her experience, insight, and expertise. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the floor over to Charlotte so that she may begin her presentation. Charlotte, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Larissa, and everyone else. Thank you for being here. I know that it's evening where a lot of you are. I'm in Oregon, in case you're wondering, so it's still 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And Larissa, sorry, I didn't see the option to advance the slide, but now I do. So thanks all of you for being here. I know Larissa gave me a little introduction and I just want to share a little bit. I was raised here in Oregon on my own family farm. It was a commodity farm raising grass seed and wheat. And what happened was in 1980, when I was about 13, my dad went bankrupt and we lost everything. And I watched everything be sold out from under us. So I thought farming was just a crazy way for someone to try to make a living. But then fast forward till 10 years ago when I wanted to start my own farm, the first thing I thought is I love the land, I love the animals, I love providing people with food, but I was not going to lose everything again like my dad did. You know, we watched everything we owned, including our house, be sold out from under us. So from the start, I knew that I had to figure out how to be profitable to make this work. And I have been studying marketing ever since and helping farmers learn what to do to build those profitable farms. Because when you go broke as a farmer, you lose a lot. You lose everything because it costs so much money just to get into it. So anyway, I've spent my last 8 years teaching farmers how to market their farms and how to build profitable farms, and am committed to doing that and love doing it and love watching the transformation because it's absolutely totally possible despite what you may have experienced so far. So one of the things I teach you to come from this place of creating a heart-centered business. I teach farm marketing from the heart, and you may be wondering, what in the world is that? Well, what I learned early on is that when you go try to sell your products with the idea that you're going to sell everything you took to market that day, or you're going to get people to buy your stuff or convince them that your products are healthier for them than the grocery store or worth the money, it can come across as a big turnoff to people. And people listen long enough to get away from you. And so then farmers, especially, would start feeling like it was a struggle and they felt really salesy. And so I teach people to come from this heart centered business place, and it's where you learn to give and serve. When you're there to share with your customers how you can help them, what happens is sales become really easy. Instead of being salesy, you're helping people. Someone said, Deborah's saying the volume is a little soft, so Larissa, if you have any help with that other than turning your computer up. And I can talk louder too if that helps. Let me know if that helps. But anyway, when you learn to market from the heart, when you learn to give and that you are there to give and serve and use your products to help people, sales become really easy and natural, and you no longer feel salesy. When you love your customers, they love you. And I'm going to explain how it is you can do that through marketing. So, first of all, you guys, if you're in the chat there, I'd love to know what stresses you out most when it comes to marketing and business. I would love to know if some of you want to post something there in the chat box. It would help me know where to focus too. But when you think of marketing and running your business, what stresses you out? I know there's going to be a little bit of a delay there in this, so I'll wait to read some of those answers. But today, we are all familiar with this idea of one-click shopping, and I know it's a concern of yours because I got some of the questions ahead of time that people wondering how it is you can compete with these home delivery businesses. Well, people buy from you because of relationships. They will pay more money to shop with you, and they will go out of their way to find you and track you down because you will learn to build a relationship with them, something that Amazon cannot do. And these food boxes that are being delivered to your house, they don't do that either. You will learn to do that. Okay, some of the messages people said that what stresses them out about marketing is being too pushy and advertising. And Gigi says the cost of feed is stressing them out. Natasha says how to differentiate from others, how to convey the value of our products. And Marilyn says finding the proper channels for advertising, social media, and getting good at technology. And John Martineau says what stresses him out is sounding preachy. So these are all things I hear from people all the time. And I'm going, other than the cost of feed, that won't be addressed today. I think that stresses everybody out too. But in marketing, for sure, the things I'm going to talk about today will help you with that. So, especially things like sounding preachy and being too pushy. When you recognize that your product is helping people, and I'm going to show you how that is, and that's what you communicate, that you're there to help people, you don't come across as preachy at all. So, we'll dive into how that is. But anyway, my daughter works at Intel, her and her husband, and they work 12-hour shifts. So when they come home for their lunch break at noon, they can decide that it would be nice to have some grass-fed steaks and fresh vegetables for dinner. So they hop online to Amazon, order through Whole Foods, and when they get home from their dinner break at 5 o'clock, their grass-fed steaks and their vegetables are on their doorstep, and they have what they think is the closest thing to a farm fresh dinner, and they didn't have to go anywhere. They just had to push a button. So that is what we all can think we are competing with today. The difference, the thing that will make you stand out is that relationship. Like I said, people will drive out of their way and they will pay you more money when you learn to build a relationship with them. And I want to go so far as to say you won't be successful in direct to consumer marketing if you don't learn how to build relationships. If you think that, oh, I just hate people, so I'm never going to work on building relationships with people, that will hold you back. You will struggle because that is the key. That is what makes small farmers successful, like family farmers. The reason people will buy from us is because of that relationship. So I'm going to the emphasis is on that during this whole presentation today, is that relationship building. However, you can only meet so many people in person. You know, you've got farm work to do, you've got kids, you've got to keep up the house. You can't get out of your house and meet people every day. And I recognize this about the first year that I had my farm. I knew that there was no way I could reach all the customers I needed to reach by just getting out the farm and getting into my community. So that's when I learned online marketing, and that's what I teach. Is I teach you to move your relationship building online for efficiency so you can actually reach the number of people you need to reach. If you don't move your marketing online, you can only keep about 50 people happy or so without having online marketing. Once you get beyond that 50, and this is based on my experience and also my experience working with the hundreds of farmers I consult with each year, if you don't move online, you just can't consistently connect with enough people to build that profitable farm. So, embracing online marketing techniques and that's what works in today's world is the first big step for you. So, we're going to start with email marketing. Email marketing has withstood the test of time. It is still the number one most profitable way to make money in online marketing. I will address social media, other social media channels in a bit, Facebook and Instagram. Email marketing makes many, many, many times more money than social media or anything else ever will. And it stays true over time. So if you aren't there yet, if you haven't started your email list, start today. It's not too late. So that's what I'm going to start with. First of all, if you have not invested in email marketing software, something like MailChimp, and I highly recommend it. It's free for the first 1,000 people or so, and you're relying on your personal email account, it's important for you to know that that is illegal. It's illegal to send sales emails out of your personal email account. So if you're emailing people and saying, hey, we got some beef going to the butcher next month, let me know how much you want, that is illegal. It's against the anti-spam laws. And you may get away with it for some time, maybe 6 months, maybe even a few years. But what happens is eventually your email will be shut down, and then you just lose access to everyone. You've lost all your email contacts because you got shut down because they finally caught up with you trying to sell out of your personal email account. So just know that that's illegal. And then your account will get marked as spam too. But eventually they do catch up with you. So the third thing is because it's illegal, you could face fines and ultimately get your account shut down. And this happens on a regular basis. I'll get an email from a farmer who says, help, I sent out my weekly email like I usually do out of my Gmail account, and now I can't even access it. I lost it. What happened? Well, they finally caught up with them. Maybe they've been using it for 5 years and it took that long to catch up. So it's really easy to just switch over to something like MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact. Any one of those or more are really good. So that's where you want to start. An email marketing service is the only legal way to send sales and marketing emails. And like I said, if you don't have one at all, look into MailChimp. It's a great place to start. The other thing email marketing does is it personalizes your emails. Remember at the very beginning, I said, for you to be competitive today, you have to learn how to build relationships with people. Well, psychologically, when people see their first name, they see their name in their email because the email marketing software automatically puts it in there. That psychologically connects with them and builds trust. It is just one tiny little trust building step that you have taken with them, which opens them up to buying. So instead of saying, hey, everyone, we've got cows going to the butcher next month, order here, you personalize it. Instead of, hey, everyone, it says, dear Bob or dear Julie. And this opens them up to trusting you and opens them up to buying from you even sooner and faster. The email marketing software sends to all of your subscribers with one click, and it tracks engagement on emails. Let me show you what that means. So what you study and what you evaluate is the only way you can improve things. If you're not studying your email statistics, you won't know what's working and what's not working. And something like MailChimp gives you this information right here, where that top one, this is a peek inside an email marketing software. And it shows the sent email there. It was sent to almost 1,200 people, and 42% of them opened it. right around 10% clicked on it, 2 unsubscribers, which is nothing. They clicked on the link that was to reserve your Thanksgiving turkey. So when you look at these statistics from every time you send an email, you can see how many people open them depending on what you say in the subject line, for instance. So if you see a subject line that gets more opens than another subject line, you can make more subject lines like that. And that's what gets people to open your emails more, is when you study what works or you study what turns people off. Like if you have a really, say this 40% open rate was 20% open rate for one email. Well, it's something to do with your subject line. So, an email marketing software allows you to study those statistics so you can improve over time. And over the years, you can get really, really good. There are you know what subject lines will work to get people to open them. And you can send an email, but if nobody opens it, you aren't going to sell anything. So this is really, really important. And it's another benefit of email marketing software. Here's another one down here, 1,170, almost 1,200 people, 41% open rate, 10% click rate. Now, compare this just briefly to something like a Facebook post. This, for instance, say you have 1,000 people on that like your Facebook page and you put a post up. This is like 400 plus people opened this email, 10% clicked on it. So 1,100 people clicked on this email. You will never get that kind of reach on a Facebook or an Instagram post or any social media. So email reaches all your recipients. Maybe one or two emails go to spam, but for the most part, they get all of them and many of them open it. This is why email marketing far overpowers any social media. So, social media is great. I'm not anti social media, but you only want to use that once you have your email marketing in place. All right. So, that's where we start. Social media followers, you can figure like 3 to 6% of people who like your social media accounts will ever see your posts. All right. This is, and it's getting tighter and tighter. That 3 to 6% is lowering every year because those platforms want you to play to pay. I mean, pay to play. They want you to start boosting ads, putting money on them to get reach. All right. And the other thing is, there's no way to consistently reach those people who like your account. Okay. So, whereas if you send an email, almost everyone will get it. But if you put up a Facebook post, only 3 to 6% of them will ever see it. So, there's no comparison there. That's why this is your foundation. So, the 3 steps that I'll keep walking you through to building that profitable farm are: number 1, define your ideal customer. In my book, Farm Marketing from the Heart, I call this your dream customer. It's that one person you wish all your customers could be like. Number 2 is grow your email list with engaged subscribers. Engaged means that they connect with you, they talk to you, they answer your email questions, they buy from you, they show up to your events, they forward your emails. So those are engaged people. And number 3, you build trust. I'm going to answer a quick question here. Nona says, is recipients the same as your contacts? Your email list is your recipients. So not your contacts in your personal email, but the email subscribers are the number of recipients in that example you saw there for sure. Okay, so step 1, define your ideal customer or your dream customer. Target her in your marketing. Number 2, grow your email list with those devoted subscribers. Number 3, you're going to build relationship with consistent emailing. In step 1 there, I just gave you guys a little hint, and I say you target her in your marketing. So I want to share something. I read this great book, and it's called Why She Buys. If you guys want to get that, I learned a lot about it. Something important to know is that in this country, in the United States, in our culture, women make 80% of the buying decisions. Even if a man is working outside the house and the woman is home with the kids, women still make 80% of the buying decisions in our country. So I want you to consider this while you're marketing your farm and you're thinking of your ideal customer. There is a very high likelihood that your dream customer is a woman. So I noticed that our uh, even if a man comes into our farm store and he's alone, he usually has a shopping list that his wife sent him with. All right. So I would love to hear in the comments, do you guys relate to this? Like, is this how it is in your home? Because I know my husband would agree that, yeah, my wife probably influences 80% of the buying decisions. So that's just a quick little aside there. And that's a great resource, that your ideal customer is probably a woman. All right. And then something else. Oh, good. People are agreeing with that. Something else I'd love to know in the chat box. Do you feel confident talking with customers and potential customers? Let me know. Do you feel confident? I would love to hear. Now, okay, before I move on to that, sorry about that. I wanted to see what the next slide was. What I want to say about confidence is one of the biggest confidence killers for farmers is when you have to get in front of someone and convince them to buy your products or tell them to buy your products. Most people don't feel confident when they do that. When you learn to market the way I teach, you are serving people and you are helping. You have a product that is changing people's lives, and it's your obligation to share it with them. And when you come from that place and that mindset, you have so much confidence. All right. So just keep that in mind. That may not sink in totally right now, but hopefully, if you rewatch the webinar too, let that sink in that when you learn to share how your products will help your customers, it is so easy to feel confident then. And that's where the confidence comes from. Fred says, does the female thing cross all age groups? Yeah, as far as I can tell, we have people from all age groups that I work with, and, and all walks of life and everything. And women are making 80% of the buying decisions in this country. So, yeah, I see it across all age groups too. All right. So, what is an ideal customer? First of all, if you're selling to everybody, you're selling to nobody. A lot of people will say, well, we raise food and everybody eats food. Therefore, our ideal customer is everybody. Or a farmer will say, well, my ideal customer is anyone with money in their pocket. But what I want to share with you is if you're trying to reach everyone, your marketing and your message will be so diluted and so non-specific that it just won't connect with anybody. Okay? When you market your products with one ideal customer in mind, so you have one person in mind that you're trying to sell to, even though you might have 1,000 people getting your emails, you're just talking to one person in your marketing. People then connect with your specific references and they feel like you're talking to them personally, not to a group of hundreds of customers. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute. I have people that shop with me that are all ages. They're young, they're old, they're men, they're women, they're single, they're married, they have kids, they don't have kids, they're college educated, they're not college educated. So, how does this work? That can't be. But I want to share with you that the more specific you get, the more people from all walks of life you will draw to you. Being very specific attracts people to you. So when you act as if you're talking to this one ideal person, you will attract everyone. Now, something like this, you might just have to trust me on and try it, because you will notice the more specific you get in your marketing materials, in your emails, in anything you write on your website or on social media. If you write it as if you're talking to one person, you will not turn anyone else off. As a matter of fact, you will attract far more people. All right, so I would love for you to start thinking about who is your ideal customer, and I want you to write down a profile describing their characteristics. If you don't do it right here, spend some time doing it tomorrow. I have a Google Doc description of my ideal customer. It's a few paragraphs, and I pull it up when I'm writing a blog post or I'm looking for something to write about, and I write as if I'm writing to that one person. So it is a powerful exercise for you to do, to decide who is that one customer you really love, you wish everyone was just like her, and I want you to just describe her, and then all your marketing is going to be directed toward her. This will change your life. Okay, so here's an example. Say that you say, I want to sell beef to women aged 25 to 35 who care about their health. You might think, wow, that is really specific. And it is, it's pretty specific. But I want you to get even more specific. Something like this. And I'm not telling you're going to have your own ideal customer. This is just an example. So this is not who you're selling to. You're going to have your own ideal customer. But as an example, I want to sell beef to women aged 25 to 35 who eat paleo to get fit and improve their health. All right. So that was even more specific. If you stopped at this, I want to sell beef to women who care about their health. Most women would say they care about their health. So you're writing very generic marketing material when you're just talking to women that care about their health. Remember, if you're selling to everybody, you're selling to nobody. So if your ideal customer does yoga 3 mornings a week, you're going to reference that in your emails and in your marketing materials. And she's going to think you read her mind, and she's going to want to buy from you. And other people will connect with that specific reference too. And they will want to get to know you and want to buy from you. All right. So when you get really specific on who you sell to, the attraction you have is really broad. You attract a broad customer base the more specific you get. I'm sort of belaboring this. I spend a lot of slides here on this because this is so life-changing. When farmers finally make the jump and say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get really specific. As scary as that is, when they feel the fear and do it anyway, they are shocked at how big of a response they start getting to their marketing materials and how their sales go up. Okay. Then what you notice is when you intentionally attract the right customers for your business, marketing becomes fun. You no longer worry about rejection. You don't worry about lack of sales. It's a natural byproduct of getting really specific. So here's one of our marketing students. She used to hate anything related to marketing our beef. By the way, most of my students come to me, most farmers, and they hate marketing, or they don't like people, or they really just want to be out on the farm doing work, or they like people, but their marketing isn't working. So they've just developed a bad taste for marketing. But Lauren says, I now look forward to engaging with our customers, which is a big shift in her thinking, marketing and selling versus helping. Once she shifted to helping people, she actually enjoys marketing now. So step 2, building a profitable farm, grow your email list. I would love to know, do you guys have an email list already? I talked to you a little bit about how important that is. So does anyone have an email list out there using marketing software? Tiffany does. Good. Awesome. Okay. And oops, I'm just looking at the chat, you guys. So Larissa, I did not see that question. If you want to let me know where it is. Yes. Okay. Gigi does not. Cliff does. Nona doesn't. Kate uses MailChimp. MailChimp's a great place to start until you get a lot of customers on there. Kathleen is just getting started. Okay. So it's almost half and half here, you guys. So start your email list. You will thank me for it later. So definitely get that going if you don't have it yet. All right. Then we've all seen one of these. Sign up for my newsletter, right? You guys, nobody wants another newsletter. Our inboxes are full, right? So you have to learn, like that's why this studying the subject lines is so important so that your customers will look forward to your emails. Okay. So instead, I teach farmers how to offer something free, a gift. It's free to you, but it's valuable to your potential customer. And you're offering that in exchange for their email address. So, as at this example here, when they enter their name and their email right there, they're going to get this free cookbook that teaches them all about tender grass fed beef every time. All right. So, you will learn to create something that is of great value to them that they are willing to give you their email address in exchange for, because today's world, people are, they're getting too many emails. So you've got to have something of value. They don't want to just sign up for your newsletter. They don't want to sign up for updates from the farm. So if that's what your website currently says, because I see that a lot, like sign up for updates from the farm and monthly specials, they don't want that. They want something of value to them. So this is a great place to start, a free cookbook, something like that. So we work with our students to figure out what is the best cookbook or checklist that is perfect for the products they sell. All right. So, for instance, 6 plan ahead crock pot meals could be your giveaway, or instant pot meals would work for my list because all my customers are into the instant pot now. A clean eating checklist. And again, this is on your website. They sign up their email and it advertises right here that they get this for free. The Busy Mom's Guide to Cooking Through a Quarter Beef, or the Raw Dairy Cookbook, How to Make Yogurt, Kefir, Butter, and More. These are all examples. Fred says, what about a farm visit with hayride to see the grass-fed beef in a beautiful setting? So that is a freebie. That's a great freebie, but that is not going to, you need a quick win for them. So that is something they have to invest time in. So many of them will not sign up to get that because they'll look at that and they'll think, oh boy, he lives an hour away. I don't really have time. I'm not going to sign up. What I teach is you want something that is a quick win that they download right now and they get a gift from you right now. So what you're talking about, Fred, is a great idea. And that would be something you could do once a year or twice a year, or you give as a gift to thank your current customers or big purchasers. But when you want to exchange an email online, when you want them to give you their email, they need something right now that they can hold in their hand right now, and not a coupon either, or you will just attract people who want discounts. So it's got to be something substantial like this. So here's one of our student examples, just a little cookbook, online cookbook, 2 or 3 pages, totally free for you to create something like this. Your email marketing service will deliver it automatically, and they think it's of incredible value. All right, so here is how you know what to write. What are the top 3 questions new customers ask you before buying? So when you get emails, this is probably in your email inbox already. People are asking you questions all the time. What is it they're asking you? For me, during chicken season, people are often saying, well, I don't know what to do with a whole chicken. I don't know how to cook it. Or they'll say, I don't know how to cut up a whole chicken. How do you do that? So my freebie during chicken season is a video tutorial teaching them how to cut up a chicken. It's just me in the kitchen using my phone as a video. Nothing edited, nothing fancy. It was free for me to teach, and that answers one of the top questions. That way you can use your freebie when someone says, hey, I don't even know how to cook round steak. You can say, oh, here, it's in our beef cookbook that's right on our website. Sign up here, you'll get it free. So you can know what it is that will work to give to your customers in exchange for their email by going through what are the top questions you get asked all the time. Answer those questions in this freebie, and they will gladly exchange their email for that. Okay. Yeah. And then Fred says, awesome, but also tell them what to do with the carcass. Yes, we have a bone broth recipe to do with the carcass to heal your gut. So the top questions you get asked, turn those into a freebie, and you will get all kinds of subscribers to your email list that will become customers down the line. All right. So, like I said, your email marketing service makes this easy to set up. It's all automated in there. They will get an email automatically delivered to them right after they sign up, delivering this freebie that was free for you to create. Okay, then step 3 on this is you build relationship and trust. The reason people are going to buy from you instead of click on Amazon to have food delivered to their house is they have a relationship with you, even though it's more inconvenient to buy from you, and even though it's very likely more expensive, or at least it should be, because our products cost a lot more to produce than what you can buy through, these online services. So, therefore, your number one job is to build relationship. It's to meet people and serve people and help people and maintain that relationship. As soon as you stop maintaining a relationship, you will notice your sales drop off. The key to this is consistent communication. So, you're going to email them once a month, year round. Even if you only sell once a year, even if you only sell once a certain season, you have to email your email list a minimum of once a month, year round. Now, if you are a vegetable CSA, you're going to email them probably once a week during the season, and then you can drop to once a month in the off season. So, I always work with people in my marketing students, or when I'm doing a consultation, to figure out what is consistent for their farm, because every farm is going to be a little bit different. But for sure, you never want to email less than once a month, year round. What happens is people forget that that why they signed up for you in the first place, and they will unsubscribe. And also, if you go longer than a month, they feel like they don't matter to you. When you work to keep in touch with them once a month, they feel like you're thinking about them. This is psychology. This is sales psychology. You cannot reach them consistently on social media. Just because you're putting a Facebook post up and an Instagram post, they aren't seeing it. Remember those 1,000 people that like your page? 30 to 60 of them might see a post depending on the day. Same with Instagram, okay? It is nowhere near when you send an email and all 1,000 of them will receive the email, close to half of them or a third of them will open it and read it. So that's what consistent communication. It's an email minimum of once a month, year round. And Cliff says, very important in the relationship, follow up. Yes, you got to follow up. And then Joyce says, do you offer another free gift with each of these emails? So in email marketing, you're giving and serving. So what I teach is our students to send about 4 to 5 relationship building emails, might include a quick recipe or something like that, and then a sales email. So that sort of answers your question. I don't send a big free gift with each one, but I send something that interests them. All right, so here's an example. One of our students, Jillian, they raise hogs. She was unable to stay consistent emailing, and her sales dropped. What happened was her husband was working away from home. She was morning sickness in the first trimester, and so she was not able to send her emails for a month and a half. She went from getting orders every day to no orders for nearly 2 weeks now. I guess email marketing really does work. So she was a student in our class, and she's like, oh, you're right. As soon as I stopped emailing them consistently, sales dropped off. Okay. So question, do they want to see the cattle? I worry about that. Please. Do they want to see the cattle? So the cattle, they want to see the cattle to the point, to the extent that it interests them. So on our farm, people love to see baby cows. Now, I would like to know what you mean by that. Do they want to see the cattle you're going to slaughter? No, they don't usually care about that. But if you have an inspirational post, maybe you are moving pasture and you put the cattle out on this green pasture and it's the most beautiful sunset. Well, that is an example of an inspirational post. Like, look at the gorgeous sunset we had last night when we were moving cattle to the new paddock, and the grass is knee deep, and wow, this, and it will fill people's hearts to see that. So I wasn't sure the context you were asking, but that's when it's inspirational somehow, they will absolutely love it. Okay, when you build trust and relationship with subscribers, what happens is people learn to love to get your emails. They're like, oh, there's an email from that farm again, and they always have a good recipe in it, or they always have the cutest picture of the baby cows. People love baby animals, period. Okay, then when it is time to sell something, when it's time to send that sales email the fourth or fifth or sixth time, then you're going to sell out quickly because you've been giving to them and serving them all this time up until then. So here's an idea of some things you can email your list about. Recipes are always welcome to people, even though you can get recipes free anywhere online. They love the recipes from their farmer. How-to videos, like I said, how to cut up a whole chicken, inspirational stories, pictures from the farm that are inspirational, educational articles. And then also maybe there's an email that just answers all their questions. If you get regular questions, the same question over and over, you know that a lot of your subscribers on your list will have the same question. So maybe you do an email that's all about answers to those questions. All right. So someone says, we have two lists, CSA members, which are already purchasing, and non-members, everybody else. Weekly emails to the CSA list. Should everyone receive the same email? In that case, no. The current CSA members are probably going to get an email on how to use what's in their CSA that week, right? And then the people who have not purchased yet, you're going to create a different broadcast for them, and it would not have to go out every week. That could go out once a month until they become a subscriber to your CSA, and then they're going to get the weekly emails too. And Nona says, if my product is technically only sold once a year, is the email still a good marketing technique? Of course. Yes, you have to. If you only send an email once a year, when you have product to sell, they're going to think, oh, there's that farmer wanting my money. They only email me when they want my money. However, if 11 months out of the year, you send them an email full of inspiration and recipes and education and answers to their questions, then when it's time to sell, you feel like a friend to them and they want to buy from you. Okay, so I know a lot of what I teach is almost the opposite of what most people think, but it's based on what works in today's world in marketing and what has worked for centuries. It's just that we do the same thing online now. So there. And Cliff says, I find video email marketing to be very helpful. Yeah, you will find what works for your customers. You will find that if videos get watched more, or if your podcast gets listened to more, or if a written post gets listened to more. So it kind of depends on your customer base. Here's an example of Shauna. She sent one how-to video to her list, made $1,000 in sales in one day. So what happened is she used to butcher her stewing hens every year, and it took all year to sell them. So then once I worked with her, I was like, hey, just send out a video about how to use a stewing hen. She sold, because they had the video, because now they had the know-how, now they knew what to do with that scrawny stewing hen. She sold out in one day, which if you're a small family farm, selling your stewing hens in one day is huge, because not only do you get the money sooner, but you don't have electricity to keep that freezer running for the next 6 months until you sell them one at a time. So this is really, really powerful and a perfect example in this case of video marketing too. So this is what a devoted subscriber list will do for your business. All right, now where do you find these dream customers? You got to get off the farm. When you meet people, you make sales. If you don't leave the farm and you don't get out and meet people, your sales will reflect that. So you've got to get out and meet people and get them on your email list. So many, just accept invitations to everything you get invited to. We have a chamber of commerce here that's really active. There are community clubs. There's, of course, CrossFit boxes, your personal friends, and then their friends. If you get invited to essential oil parties, you go there, you take a dozen eggs, people are, or take a pound of burger, whatever it is you sell, people are going to be really interested in it. Of course, farmers markets. There are so many local little events here, like at our colleges and our local hospital where they're bringing farm fresh food into it, and I can go there and meet people. So I take one day a week. Every Wednesday, I leave my farm at noon, and then I pick my daughter up at school at 3 o'clock. So I have 3 hours to go meet businesses, or maybe I have lunch with a customer or coffee, or I drop some free product by a chiropractor's office. So that's where you find your dream customers. You get out in the community and you meet people, and they may not be the person that buys from you, but they're going to tell someone. Don't discount vegans or vegetarians. Some of my customers who some of my contacts who have sent me the most customers, crazy enough, have been vegan. We only sell animal products, and they will tell me, they're like, I'm vegan, but if I ate animal products, if I ate meat and drank milk, I would buy from you. And they tell all their friends, and their friends buy from us. So don't discount meeting a person because they're a vegan, or you think they won't eat your product, because they will tell your friends. All right. So true. Someone said in the comments. And also, I love this. If you don't make a sale, make a friend. So if you just keep that in mind, that if you don't make a sale, that person may connect with you and tell their friends about you. I've had so many people who say, well, we raise our own eggs, so we're not going to buy your eggs, but my friends all want eggs and I don't have enough for them, so I'm sending all my friends to you. So get out and meet people anywhere, accept all those invitations. Trust me, it gets easier. If you think you're an introvert, that is a skill you can develop. So it will get easier and easier to get out and meet people and get them on your email list. All right, so we're almost done. To wrap up, your heart-centered marketing plan. I want to make sure you guys have time for more questions. Define your ideal customer and target her in your marketing. Grow your email list with those devoted subscribers who want to hear from you. Build relationship with consistent emailing. All right. So I've got some freebies for you guys. I practice exactly what I teach my students. So this is an example. I have an Instagram marketing guide for you. I have a price for profit course. I have an email marketing course, all linked up in an email. If you text the word 3Cow Marketing, all one word, to the number 44222, you will get an email delivered to you with all those goodies in it. All right. And you will get on my email list, fair warning. So if you don't want on my email list, but you want the free stuff, you could always subscribe and then unsubscribe. Or this is just an example of doing what I teach. So feel free to jump in and get those things too. And then Larissa, I think I'm done.
Yay. Thank you, Charlotte. That was excellent. Um, so I think that we got through most of the questions that came through during the presentation, but we do
Okay.
have, another, I would say 5, 6, 7 minutes. So if folks are kind of this is all kind of percolating and you have questions that have come up that you'd like to ask Charlotte, well, we still have her online. Just feel free to type into that chat box, and we will read it so everyone can hear it, and Charlotte will answer. Um, I will say that I read this very interesting thing. I think it was a study that was done by Cornell, and this is somewhat relevant, that um, farmers markets have been really struggling. And, I think a lot of it has to do with people interacting with the farmers and feeling like they don't know what to say. And the customers are almost intimidated by the vendors. And, it's kind of disheartening. But I don't know if you've seen that, or if you have any kind of reaction to that
Sure.
result.
Well, so I speak at several farmers market conferences where the whole conference is just teaching their vendors. And what I teach is you are not there to make the sale of the product you brought that day. That is that's a side benefit. You are there to build relationships. If you go to the farmers market with that in mind, and you aren't looking down at your phone and you're not sitting down, but you're standing up and you're helping people, you're serving them, you're complimenting them, you're starting conversations, that is far more valuable than whatever sale you might make that day. Okay. So many people go there and they're just trying to push whatever it is they have, and people listen to you long enough to get away from your booth. And
Mhm.
that's where that intimidation comes in. So if you go in with the attitude of you are there to help and to serve and to share and meet as many people as possible, you will find that you sell more going in with that attitude. So, and you can really tell the vendors who have been trained in that skill, they stand out from the vendors who don't. And it might be 1 out of 10 vendors who is actually there to um, because they value you, and you can tell they're talking to you because they're really interested in you, not because they want to sell whatever it is they have. So
Mhm.
it's a skill, and you can definitely hone that skill.
Mhm.
Okay,
Excellent.
I
Yeah,
see a
there's some
couple
good.
of questions in here. Laura says, "How do you calculate your pricing choices?" Laura, that free pricing calculator, I have a Google, it includes a spreadsheet where you just put your costs in there and it will come up with your price. So I have calculated it all out there for you, and you will just customize it to your product. So in that number that you could text, 442, well, there it is, 44222. There are Google spreadsheets in there that I have mine, so you can see mine filled out, and then I have a blank one for you to put in your numbers there. So that would be my best suggestion for you. Harriet says, is there an optimal length for emails to people who are not yet customers? I play with email length. So I not too long and not too short. I want to engage with them. I want to say something really emotional in the first sentence or two to get them to read on, and then I want to keep it fairly short. I'm thinking 400 words or so, and then a blog post can be more words, 800 to 1,000 to 2,000 words. But emails, I would say 500 words. All right, Tiffany says, for marketing photography on the farm, how often do you refresh it? Do you stay with one photographer or use all different ones? So let's see, I've got so many answers to that question. I like to call her our family photographer. So she comes to our farm and does a photo shoot twice a year with all the whatever's going on that season. It might be out in the mud in the winter, and no leaves on the trees, and in summer. So we have pictures from all seasons. I don't need any other photographer. I just use her. And then I take my iPhone out because you guys, these iPhone cameras are whatever phone you have, the camera on mine is better than the fancy camera I bought. So I take my phone out once a week to just kind of keep updated. And I refresh my website photos maybe once a year. So I don't refresh them very often. But if I'm sending a photo in an email or on my blog, those are different every single email or blog I send out. So when you find a photographer you like, you can definitely stick with the same one. Cindy, you're welcome. And do you have samples of the monthly emails you send, Cindy? In my courses in various places, yes, I do, but I don't have them in this presentation. Kathleen says, when you're meeting your dream customers, how are you getting them to sign up for your emails, business card sign up sheet? You know what? This is perfect. This is what you want to do at the farmer's market. You have your phone there, your iPad. If you're busy at the farmer's market, take someone with you and put them on the iPad. And you have most, let's see, people are most likely interested in whatever that free gift is because you based it on the questions they're asking you. So, Kathleen, say you raise vegetables and people come up to you and they're like, what is my family only eats broccoli. Do you sell broccoli? And you could say, yeah, as a matter of fact, on my website, I've got this freebie that includes my 5 favorite recipes that my kids will eat. Here you go. Just put your email right in here pull your phone up, pull your website up and say, just put your email here. You're going to get that delivered to you. And then I'm going to keep in touch with you once a month after that. And they're going to, because you come from a place of helping them, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So it's so easy to get them on your list when you come from a place of helping them. All right. Someone says, I find that some folks simply use Instagram for marketing along with face-to-face interactions. Your thoughts? Yeah, if you have 1,000 people that like your Instagram account, only a few will see them. It's not consistent. You will go broke if you only, I know this for, I can guarantee this. If you only use Instagram for marketing, you won't have, that's not the foundation for a profitable business. You've got, anyone who's making money on Instagram is funneling them to their email list for consistent interaction. As soon as someone goes a few days or a week without liking one of your Instagram pictures, you don't show up in their feed anymore. So Instagram is not a marketing foundation, it's just a channel. Just think of it as that way. Your foundation is your website and your email list. That is your marketing foundation. That's a foundation you build your fun house on. And then the fun house would be like either Instagram or Facebook or something else. Those are only going to work after you have your foundation in place. And then how do you get the freebies like the recipes? Guess what, you guys? Recipes are not copyrighted. So if you have your own recipe, by all means say, my husband calls himself Farmer Mark, and I'll say, hey, this is Farmer Mark's favorite steak sauce recipe. People love that. But you can also go online and you can pull out any recipe and copy it, and you don't and it's fine. They're not copyrighted. I always like to give credit though. I'll just have a teeny little credit at the bottom that says recipe adapted from Bon Appetit magazine or Cooking Light magazine or whatever. So there you go. Look up a recipe, customize it. You can even change a few ingredients and call it your own. Like my favorite pot roast recipe, your customers will love that. And it can be based off of something in a book or something like that. Okay. That was
Yeah,
like
well,
it's like 1 minute before the hour.
I
Perfect.
know. Awesome. I'm so impressed. We do have just a few housekeeping items I want to share before we do sign up off our webinar tonight. As a reminder, immediately after this webinar, you're going to be asked to complete a very brief survey. And we would really appreciate it if you take a minute to, it really is only about a minute, half a minute to tell us about your experience. Also, a recording of the webinar and the slides will be available soon. These documents will be archived on the FACT website, and I'm also going to email them all to you tomorrow morning. And also, I have a quick plug for some upcoming webinars. Charlotte will be back again with us next week to talk about creating a website, an effective website for your farm, and then the week following to share more strategies for social media. So both of these should be fantastic, and I'm going to be sending registration links to those and all of the upcoming ones in my follow-up email. Um, Charlotte, do you have any parting thoughts before I close the webinar?
I want to thank everyone for being here, but also remember that marketing is about giving and serving, not selling. If you keep that in mind, you'll be super successful. How is what you're doing helping people?
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm going to close this off for tonight. That's all the time we have. It's been a real honor and a pleasure to have you, Charlotte, and I'm going to look forward to being with you again next week. I'd like to thank everyone out in the audience for your interest and attention as well. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.